Hello, happy St. Patrick's Day. And yes, I'm all in green. Da, 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 da. How are you guys? So I'm looking for my beer. I'm looking for my beer stamp because really, wouldn't that be appropriate to do today? Let's face it. And I've been thinking I was doing it all day. And I'm totally not. Hello, I'm Wilson. How old are you guys? Do you know if I say, hello, Wilson? What was that? Home Improvement, I think, hey? Hi, Roz. How you doing? So, live at 8. It's going to be great if you're in Mountain Time. Otherwise, it's live at 10 out east. Live at 10. I don't know what would rhyme with that. One of the girls actually gave me it'll be great quite a while ago, over a year ago now probably, and so that was kind of fun. Anyways, okay, so I have a cute little card that we'd like to do. It's Shamrock Days, and I might work with a shamrock and a little sheep actually. So I actually got this pretty scarf when I was in Ireland with my daughter last summer, and isn't it gorgeous? Let me show you because it's got all the. And I don't think any of our, isn't that pretty? How far back there? There. Yay, Sharon, hey. I don't think any of our sets have the Celtic, I don't know if we have any very, very Celtic ones. I was on a meeting the other day with Sarah, the CEO of our company of Stampin' Up. I have been a Stampin' Up demonstrator for 22 years. I have been a leader for just about that entire time. So yay me. But and so I'm part of a leaders group, and Sarah came to speak with us, and she definitely it was very heartwarming. They are definitely thinking of us as Canadians here and definitely want everything to be cool. What did she say? I just loved what she said. But they're hearing us basically. They totally understand us talking. Most recently, for everybody that's super excited, the catalog for pre-looking at it for Stampin' Up demonstrators happened today. So we got to take a peek at it, and they were going to take out the thick cardstock. And not that I personally use the thick cardstock, but the people spoke and they were like, okay, and they've brought it back in, and it'll be available as well, so that's kind of cool. I was saying, I brought that all up for another reason, and I can't remember what. Anyways, hello and happy St. Patrick's Day and spring break. Yes, Keisha, you had a cute little helper on your live this morning. It was awesome. Green, a St. Patrick's Day butterfly, which was super fun. All right. So I did bring my little champagne glass again because it's super cute. I don't know if from this angle you can kind of see. It's a heart shape. So my daughter found it. It's very pretty. It's like a little rainbow. And it's got gold rims. So that's all good. So I'm going to be creating with green cardstock today. We're going to make a little fancy fold. I think it'll be kind of quick and easy without a beer. I'm not sure what I was going to say about Sarah because it wasn't about that. It might come to me. All right. Yes. So yes, Roz, you know them, so that's cool. That is good. Okay, I am going to pop you guys down. I will run into the other room. So said something about Ireland. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Sometimes I lose track of what I'm saying or why. I'm so busy telling you, giving you the backstory, that then I forget what's going on. Okay, the other day I forgot to bring this in. So my lime key lime pie from the other day worked in rather well. I ended up, you know that you don't know, but I was having this guy, and so then I colored two more different. Hey, I have to show you this though. Actually, I was thinking of doing a little post. So this is actually two different blends. This is. This is blueberry, and this is azure, or vice versa. And then balmy blue in the middle there. But they definitely, yes, actually, so Keisha and Roz are talking about Keisha's daughter, or niece rather, and she totally, when I very first popped in and saw that her color, and she was just a giving her, and she's so articulate, like it was really cool. Anyway, so I colored both of those guys thinking yes, mostly because I could not find my Misty Moonlight to save my soul, which is what I thought I wanted on this card, and I do think you'll agree. You can let me know, but this was the original, and it was okay, but it was a little bit kind of too much, especially with this pop of green. Anyways, I wanted key lime pie for some reason or another that day. I'm not really sure why. Okay, I gotta go grab that little stand. It'll show you how old I have been. Which, so honestly, I wish I'd have looked just for a few extra minutes longer earlier. I know as soon as I probably, oh, maybe I'll check right here. Probably as soon as I hang up with you, I'll be like, oh, there it is right there. Hang on, let me check one more second here. Look at this oldie moldies. Woohoo! So we're shy of, oh, I thought that might have said St. Patrick's Day. That's the right font for all of it. Shy of, I don't know how often we think of actual Ireland when we're doing St. Patrick's Day. We think green beer and shamrocks. But really, if you go to Ireland, they totally have, if you can't hear me, it's because I have my head totally down in my stamp. So I have 2 rows. When you guys see my row of my shelf of stamps here, I actually have a bunch in behind. And I don't have them very well organized. I did just do that though, so. Like I said, I know as soon as I'll just put these over here, probably hang up, I'll probably turn around and be like, oh, for goodness sakes, but anyways, okay. That's funny. I love that she was super excited when she was like, I get to use, look at this old set, hey? So I'm going to bring in the little the little sheep. So yeah, in Ireland, they have a whole bunch of Irish sheep, right? That is their whole dealio. So we'll use some sheep today. So definitely not current. I'm kind of keen on working with stuff that you can. If you've been a stamper forever for me, like me, 22 years I've been stamping with Stampin' Up. And if you're like me and you have old product, let's pull it out. So you guys heard, if you're just coming on, these 2 are actually 2 different ones. Blueberry and Azure Afternoon. Pretty similar, so just that's an FYI a little tiny bit if you are just starting your collection and you're like, I'm just going to stamp a couple of these maybe because I might want a couple of them. If you're just starting, you might be able to be like, okay, I can do one or the other. Whichever one is the more favorite of them, or whichever. You might not need both of those right off the bat, is I guess what I'm trying to say. And then I will try the Shy Shamrock, and I'm going to be using last year's Lucky Clover as well then. I wasn't planning on using this little guy. I did use it already this year. I do tray favors for the hospital, and we did these guys. We put them onto a little placard like that guy, right? He just sits nice and nifty. And so this was Thanksgiving one, obviously. Do it for the hospital auxiliary, but he just went on, and it was, I did it on shaded spruce. So it was quite cute, but I had the one extra little guy, but he's sweet, hey? And then the words from, I don't know, something around here. But yes, so this is cute. And I'm going to stamp this guy, and I might add some of these guys in here then too. Why not? All right, so I will put this guy together eventually, sooner than later, and go with that. All right, and let's see what the Shy Shamrock looks like here. So we're going to make a little fancy full card with green, and we'll see how this goes. I've got Granny Apple Green queued up for the fancy fold, but maybe we'll change our mind. Who knows? There's those little guys that were off playing the other day. I couldn't find them to save my soul the other night. Ended up having to do, oh yeah, the pear. Oh, that's pretty. I'm not sure if I'm going to like it with a thing. Yeah, so I ended up doing him on my little gel card. So this was, sorry, I have a whole bunch of little series going on. Tomorrow's textures, Tuesday textures, and Thursday is the ABCs of techniques, and we're on O for oceans. So now I'm just a little concerned about this. I can maybe change this around. That might be just as easy. But I queued up some, yeah, that's going to be pretty. Okay, so that's cute, but I think I'm going to bring in, so this is Shy Shamrock, but I'm going to bring in Granny Apple Green in reality because it'll be better. Mostly because I have this already cut. So I'm going to show you a little fancy fold. Julie over at Sunny Days Stamping, she's done a few up now, and it's pretty simple. So if you kind of want to stamp along with me, you can, that's pretty. You can pop over, grab yourself a piece of paper. You're going to cut it at 3 3/4 the lengthwise so that you can have 9 3/4. Okay, so you need to cut it the right way so you can have a piece of paper that's 3 3/4 by 9 3/4. And then you're going to need a white piece of paper, which I also grabbed, I think. Hang on one second. And where's my cutter machine? Here it is. And you're going to want this to be 3 1/2 by 9 1/4. All right. All right. So I'm going to cut this out and color in for you, because you guys can decorate the inside of yours in a few seconds. We are going to add a little bit of red to this. So you can do what you think for the heart. If you prefer, you could even keep with the green. I like to have, I don't mind having a little red always on any given thing. So should make him a little black sheep maybe, hey? I'm going to add a little gray marble with light smoky slate. If I wanted to be really accurate with these guys, I'd put like a red or a blue stripe down their back. I'm not sure what that signifies, but just about all the sheep in the fields always have stripes on their backs. Have you noticed that? All right. In truth, the sheep always have, they're kind of yellowish, but I feel like that's going to make them look dirty. Sometimes I wish we had something just a little lighter than light smoky slate. Does that make any sense? But he doesn't ever feel like he's done. So sometimes in the old days, I used to do a wee little tiny bit of, well, with snowmen, I've done balmy blue, sort of just like what I'm doing, a little lighter than this. So I guess with watercolor, I could do it a little tiny bit lighter. But I guess with, I guess that looks okay. Kind of looks like there's a little, like I did something with them. Because that's, for me, when we do something that is white, I just always feel like we're kind of missing something. Okay, I had my scissors here, there. So there is a punch for this little guy. To be honest, I know I don't know where he is. And so I will just quickly cut him out. And when I'm cutting, if you move the paper instead of the scissors, basically, you get some smoother cuts sometimes than not. I kind of feel like we're out of practice to some degree for fussy cutting because we have so many dies. So I did stock over the weekend the annual conference for Stampin' Up's all demonstrators was held down in Raleigh, North Carolina, and it sold out. It was a sold out event, and with Carrie and I going to Uruguay this year, it just didn't feel quite, it felt, the flights from Calgary were awkward. It was a long travel day, and I just sort of thought between just, not that I didn't just get home in reality now, I realize, because I feel like I've been home for, you know, the full month, but it just felt like tight. And then I was kind of really glad. I did have a little FOMO, but a little less because it sold out so quickly. I was really glad that other people got to go for the first time and stuff like that. I've been very lucky that I've been to several. And I also get to go to the leadership ones, which are super, super fun. We're down to Vegas this year again. And that was actually what kept me as a leader, was going each year. We would get to go somewhere in the States. Shelley Gardner, when she was doing the thing and the way that the business was, she loved going somewhere warm. So they live in Utah, and that she would always choose somewhere warm for us to go within the States. And we would converge, 1,500 of us would go somewhere and learn business and stamping ideas and stuff. So it was super, super fun. Anyways, and just really cool group of people. So anyways, the ideas were coming, the different stuff. There was prizes being won, so there's new stamp sets being won, so we've got an idea of some of the new stamp sets coming out. There is kind of actually a little bit like this. There is one line stamping. There's about probably 8 images there. That was kind of cool to watch. So I was laughing because I actually spent several hours, sadly, like in a way, and I was walking today and I thought, you know what though, if I'd actually gone down, I'd have spent a whole bunch more hours there. And I enjoyed it. So yeah, so anyways, stalking my friends, hearing who they were meeting up with, who they were having dinner with, what was going on, who was getting celebrated on stage. Rosemary Coleman was getting celebrated. I was looking for somebody to be recognized at the 300,000. I would have walked the stage at 300,000 because that's what I've hit. And so I was waiting for somebody else to be walking the stage, because how they did it was basically, if this was the demonstrator, they would flash up on the screen 300,000 CSV that they've achieved. And they had the 3 names. There was just 3 of us that achieved in North America, I guess it maybe was. And the little person walks along and people were taking pictures. So then it would be there kind of. And I was like, oh, if I could find Julie Quinn, I think maybe was another one. Michelle, actually I need to look at Michelle's. I should find out who the other 3 were that hit it, and then I can stalk them. Anyways, I was busy stalking all weekend is what I guess I'm trying to say. Bottom line, did you like that? She has now become a stamping sheep. How do you like that, hey? All right. So if you are set, the Rams have a chalk marker on them, so it's a way of knowing they've done their job. Oh, wow, I did not know that, Betty. Did you guys read that? Had no idea. So, and by which one then? That's why. So if there's 2 bulls, one's red and one's blue, and that's why they get marked. Oh, interesting. Well, that is a fact that I didn't know before. I have walked in a lot of sheep fields and I had never known that. Okay. Good to know. Great to know. Thanks, Betty. You are a wealth of knowledge. You don't even raise those guys. All right, here we go. We need to have 2 pieces of paper. One of them in color is going to be 3 3/4 by 9 3/4. So 9 3/4 is bigger. Like, make sure you cut it the right way, right? And then the white piece is 3 1/2 by 9 1/4. And obviously it's going to lay inside there, right? And then we're going to have a little piece. This was a piece of paper. It's on sale right now, actually, for like $11.90, I'm pretty sure. Kind of a fun little packet. It was a remake of some owl paper. So I'm going to have that on the front. and it is 3.5 by 4 1/4 this way. So it's 3.5, right, by 4 1/4 this way. And then we need another little piece, which, because we're doing kind of a Irish, Luck of the Irish theme, I brought in a little piece of gold, and I'm doing that 4 by 1, okay? And then that, you also need the little matchbox. So we're doing a matchbox card, and this little guy is 4 1/4 by 2.5. And I'm looking for my thing. And we're going to bring in our scoring tool now and do some important scoring. So if you've got your pieces, you can score along with me. You didn't know about this one, but it's pretty simple and you can add it in pretty quick. So again, this is 4 1/4 by 2.5. And you'll, don't panic. If you don't have this one, honestly, don't panic. Do you know what I mean? Just jot that down, because you'll be able to do it. So 4 1/4 by 2.5, and you're going to score it at 1 1/4. Okay. And you'll either have a chance to do it shortly, or you can do it afterwards and you'll be in good shape. Okay. And I don't know, but I've really been bad at cutting my little 2.5s. So we have just that hair. We'll cut them off. It'll be great. Okay. And now this guy, again, 3 1/4 by 9 3/4, and we're going to score it at 5 1/4. I hope. 5 1/4 score, not cut, score. Okay. And this white guy, we're going to score it at 5 inches. And yes, I did. Look at my fun little nails. I have my little pink going on. I have a little metallic for little accents. And again, scoring at 5. And this one is 3 1/2 by 9 1/4. And then you're going to actually fold this carefully, okay, so that it's lining up. Bring in your little bone folder. Crease that, okay, so it's all squared up there. And now you're going to turn this so that this edge, and you're going to cut through both the folded edge, okay, so you're going to score, cut it rather, at, you're going to come in at the 3/4, no, you're going to come in, sorry, pardon me, you're going to come in at 1 1/2, and I would bring your scoring tool down to the 3/4 mark, not scoring, your cutting tool, okay, so you are cutting this, and you're lining your edge up at 1 1/2, bring your cutting blade down to the 3/4 mark on here, and if you're really bad like me, you can't really see it, but it is there. Okay, and then cut it up to the top. Okay, so push it in and cut it up. If you try to cut it down, it's got to leap through that score fold, and it's not going to be happy. Push it over to the 2 inch. And bring this back to the 3/4. Okay, push it down and cut it up. So you'll have 2 little tiny slits like so. Then you can bring this guy over to the 1 3/4 mark. And now you're going to score it a little bit there and flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. So 3/4. This just makes it a little bit neater. I didn't do it earlier, and it's not that big of a deal, but it will probably make it a little bit prettier. I think that's it for scoring. Okay, so I can set that aside. And now you have this little guy, and see how cool this is? He's going to pop out and create a little something. And by doing that little tiny score, I think it was sort of between 2 and such, you have a neater little one. Where is my other guy? And I can show you. I was going to have one sort of to show you all done, but of course, and you can see if when I didn't score there, and it's just a little bit sloppy. When he's open, he's not bad. He's also going to get totally covered up. Like this is going to be covering it. So you won't see the sloppiness, but I have to tell you, having done it now this way, this feels much better. So taking that second just to score along that, between those two things is just a little bit nice, okay? And then you pop it through And then it initially doesn't kind of, because this has been folded the wrong way kind of, and these have not been folded. They kind of resist for half a second. Just push it and then make it go. Okay. Burnish it and away you go. This guy's fine. There's nothing wrong with him. He's just not as tidy. He's going to get glued. He's not going to be seen. It's not critical if you have glued him down and you're like, rats. So I'm going to score this guy, or burnish it rather. Line up your edges so everything's nice and fold them in. Okay. And then I think this goes like this and this. FYI, I always wing things, so don't trust me until the end. Fold this guy over. Burnish. Have that little guy at the back. I'm just going to go really quick and grab trim just this a smidgen. He's just on my trimmer. It wasn't enough and it kind of left a weird little edge. You guys are awfully quiet. You're watching adroitly. Okay, and then so this is 1.25 inches. I must have cut this. What did I cut it at? Should be at 1 inch by 4. And I must have cut it at way over 1 inch. I don't know what I was doing. Strange. Stranger things have happened. Let's go with that. I might use this little tiny strip of gold right here. That might be beautiful, actually. Woo, woo, me. All right, so this guy is going to go in here. Okay, so I can glue that guy on. So I will. And a piece of gold. Again, we're doing a little tiny bit of a take on St. Patty's Day. And this guy goes on here. So I'm just going to glue down at the bottom here. I'm going to center him, so I can do this and put some glue right here. And then I'm going to put some glue right here. The whole thing. Yes, the whole thing. And okay. And then I'm going to line this guy in here. So I'm centering him, hopefully well. Look, if I'm using this piece, I have it perfect. Okay, and at the top, it might not be square. Make sure it folds perfect. Let all of that glue for 5 seconds. And then I'm going to, I hope anyways, glue this in here. And I'm pretty sure, so I just obviously don't want to glue this part, but I gotta think I just glue this straight in, and that's straight in. Uh-oh. That is not untypical of me. I totally did that the wrong way, you guys. Oh, Lori. Oh, Lori. Hopefully you were doing as I do and not as I say. Rats, you guys. Somebody that was watching me probably was like, uh-oh. All right. Don't. So crazy. Okay, do it again the other way now, Lori. If I'd have folded it first, I'd have known. All right, so again, I'm going to glue here and glue here. And you're like, don't use that. Oh yeah, I'll just put a little piece of paper down there. It'll add. My mistakes are always just an excuse for embellishment, just so you know. Oy, oy, oy. Okay, here we go. So again, gluing this so it's centered. Oopsie. It's a little aggressive. There we go. And then making sure that folds. And now this will fold up underneath there. Oh, and you know what? This is going to have this on here, but not right to that edge. I think I'll just add a little tiny bit of gold strapping right there, and that should do the trick. Ha ha. See? We didn't know why we had this goal, but now we do. This will be lovely. And will it be enough? Yes, perfect. Who knew? You're like, oh, Laura, you made a mistake. Look at me make a change. That is called a pivot like nobody's seen before, hey? Okay, maybe with me we have. I just want to tidy this up a little tiny bit because it's messy. So in this one, this was nice because I didn't glue to the edges there, and I don't need to, right? And this one I do need to, so this is perfect. Oopsie. Just gluing that straight onto the edge. Well, he's not right to the top, but he's okay. And then cut this off here. And I'll put this guy on so that we got rid of the stick. I am kind of living on the edge. Ay, ay, ay. My best intentions. Sometimes I think of things for quite a while before I sit down with you guys, and I could practice them, but do I? No. Oh, I can wing that, I'm sure. All right, that turned out perfect. Except for the little glue on there. Yay, that's going to be perfect, oh. All right, so now clearly the big side goes this way. What I was actually checking on was if we glue this, I'm sure that gets glued right down to the bottom. But maybe not. What I'm wondering is, I think I glue it flat because otherwise it won't fold. What I was wondering is if I put it weird, oh, yeah, you guys. No, I think we glue it into the corner, and that's better. So this could be two ways. I could glue this so that it was a little bit like that, because some cards we would want that. But in this case, because then it does a little pop that way. But I think in this case, and it still will close and fold flat because you do it that way. But in this case, I think we do it this way. And then he sits up. You see him. So one of my rules is that a card should be able to stand. So saying that, I think I'm going to create this guy so he's sideways after, so that I can stand him up and he'll be, the inside will be the inside, the fun inside of the card. So we're going to decorate him that way. And I can put a little something on the front, but basically he's going to just open up and just go for it. My fingers are really sticky. I'm making my shiny all dirty. Okay, so now this guy we're going to glue down, but I want to stamp on him first. And like I said, I'm going to turn this card around, and although people will probably open it like this, no, they won't if I put something sideways on here. Okay, so they'll open it and then it'll stand, because I really like a card to stand, and otherwise that's not going to stand anywhere. You could prop it up against something. So the idea, just FYI, is that something will pop out of here, right? And it'll be super cute. And when you open it, it's like, ta-da! So, all right. And again, I didn't watch enough of her video because I'm really bad. I am going to put my little critters on here. So what I was thinking is to have these guys, right? Like, that's kind of cute. Looks a little something something-ish. I happen to have a little green something here. He maybe is kind of cute. And I can put him just like that, and he'll pop out. So we'll do that. So we just need to decorate this a little tiny bit more because he doesn't have enough decoration. So I'm going to bring in that, and yes, I am talking to myself. If you're wondering, I'm just talking away to myself. Oh, Sue, I am quite crazy. What did I see of yours? The Irish jiggers. The Irish jiggers. The girls dancing the Gaelic, the Celtic dancing. Spit it out. I don't know how many years I did say the other. Sending luck and love I like. Happy St. Patrick's Day. So I'm going to run over and grab my lemon lime. I'm going to have 2 colors of green in here, I think. And I'm just going to stamp some green alligators and long neck geese. So I made some cookies for my girls last night, sugar cookies. And somewhere in my world, I have a little shamrock cookie cutter. Somewhere in my world, let's put it that way. Not sure where when I need them. Does that sound familiar? Anyways, I did have a little frog, so I thought, okay, green frog, same difference. Okay, so if I'm going to do this, and yes, I really am using all old stuff, you guys, so bear with us. If that irritates you, this is not the channel you want to be watching. All right, so I'm going to put these guys on here. That'll be super cute. So bottom line, I can put a little sending luck and love here. Now, depending on, I want to have the Happy St. Patrick's Day as well. Depending on, I think I could have that over on this side. I think I will. This will have more focus. So when you stamping, because that's really good English, when you are stamping, it's always good to work with your biggest object or what you want most to be seen sort of thing, right? And so if I want to make sure I have room for this sending luck and love. And this is Granny Apple Green. So I'm going to stamp my little Granny Apple Greener down here, sending luck and love. I love this. Okay. Put that one down. And then I'm going to pick up this little guy and I'm going to stamp him. Oh, I do have some small guys. I'm going to stamp him over here. Oh, that's pretty. And then I'm going to stamp. Where'd my St. Patrick's Day guy? I do need a little bit larger. This guy. And Happy St. Patrick's Day will just go up here. Nice thing about this is if he, oh, I did it so straight. Why couldn't I hit it that straight? I was just going to say, if it goes a little crookey-eyed, it's not the end of the world, right? But of course, this would be the day that I get it just perfect, because why wouldn't I? And I'll do a couple of these guys around because I think it'll be kind of fun. Do another one down here. Super, that's 5. And then this guy, these 2 colors are also very similar. I wonder if we had the blends of both of these. I don't know if we can get the blends. They might now be coming out, but it seems to me maybe we don't have the blends of the Granny Apple. Just checking that. Oh yeah, we do. And the lemon lime. Okay. Just stamping right now, I'm kind of wondering maybe we wouldn't need to have it. I'm going to stamp one of these this way. And then right beside it, I'm going to do the pretty similar colors. I just got a whole plethora of shamrocks. Because why not? Super fun. I love stamping. It's so fun. She laughs crazily. Super cute. I couldn't have got that better if I tried. Okay, that's sweet. Now, I do have another little one, but I think that's good. So we'll stop while we're ahead. It's like sometimes when I'm stamping with the kids, I'm like, okay, stop, stop, stop. And you know what? I have no idea. I feel like this is probably Pear Pizzazz or some other green, but we're going to go for it. And we're just going to put a little bit of glue right on there. And we are going to first off put these guys on here. And I think I could almost pop, I think I'll pop him up, but not him. So I'm going to glue him down straight. Okay. And yes, unfortunately, this guy, if you do not have a clover of any kind and you want to do a St. Patrick's Day card, you should find a beer. No, I'm just teasing you. Here, have a drink because we lost our beer. This is supposed to be a beer on here. But anyways, isn't that a cute little cup? 4 little hearts do a very, very good job. I should demonstrate that just so that you really believe me, but you probably get that idea. If you had 4, here's a heart right here for you to kind of see so you can visualize at least one of them. Sorry, I'm bouncing you, but right, it's pretty similar. So if you put 4 of them together with a little tiny stem, you can have a little tiny heart. So just FYI. And then this little guy, we will pop up on a couple dimensionals. I was cleaning my desk and I have all my dimensionals in one area. Hi, Kathy. We're making a little matchbook card. And I made a mistake already, so it's good that you missed it and you can watch the replay. When you're watching the replay, don't do what I do. Do as I say. But it worked out really pretty. The serendipity is that I have this beautiful little gold line there that I would not have had otherwise. Da, 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 da. All right, so this little guy's going to go on here. He can just about be off, because I have enough room. And then I'm going to put the glue on there. And you might be wondering, why are you not putting it inside here? Because I didn't watch the rules all the way through. So Julie over on Sunny Days showed us how to do it, and she showed like 14 of them. And I'm just not sure if I'm gluing this flat in or kind of hanging out. And so I'm going to see if I can figure it out. So I'm putting a lot of glue. I don't want to put probably that much. I don't want it to spill out over the edges. That just makes it messy. But I do want it to be all over. So I'll just smear that. Oh, well, that was bad. Do you know what I thought this was, honestly? Do you know on these stamps, I totally thought it was like that plasticky thing that comes off the back of these stamps. That was so cute. Oh, well. All right, so that is done. So now I'm just going to put this how I kind of want it, and then I'm going to just fold it over so that it gets a good fold down where it wants to. Okay. So there's that. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull in actually some of this tape that I had. It's just, and I'm just kind of curious. I'm not going to put it tight into the corner. So this guy could be tight in here, right? So that, and I feel like I have to say that there's just a little bit more room than I would think that she might not. So I kind of am wondering if she's got it just like, that's where I kind of want to glue it. And if I glue it there and same here, see how she's got that like that, then I think we might want that. And if she didn't do it that way, I might want it that way. So I'm just going to hope that the stress isn't too much on this. And I'm going to just put this in here so that when I open it, I can see. And I'm putting it just down so that it's good. So I'm going to line this up so that it looks pretty. Does that make sense? As opposed to lining it up to the center. And I will find out what way I'm really supposed to do it. But anyways. Okay, so that looks good. And then I'm going to bend it up. So this way you're putting both sides down as opposed to folding it closed, which I would bet anything she folds it closed. So then when you open it, boo-boo, how cute is that, hey? Boo-boo. Now, there is no harm, no foul by doing it that way, and it looks more attractive. And I actually kind of like that. So I think you can do it either way. So in this case, all I'm going to do then is glue the very edge. So I won't glue like max, I'll glue like 1 inch or whatever, because he never needs to lie completely flat, but he definitely won't if you do it this way. Do you know what I mean? Like he can't lie flat anymore, but he doesn't need to. You've decorated, so you don't need him to lie flat anymore. And he sits very nicely. and it's just sort of fun. So I would 90% think that she glues them so that you glue one side just tight into the side, fold it over and glue it, and there it is. But I like this way, so I'm going to do it this way. Now we want to secure this down so that this can go in and out constantly. And hopefully, yeah, it is just in there a little tiny bit, so that's good. So a nice little piece of ribbon on here would do the trick. And I totally had all sorts of stuff there. I saw that I have, and yes, I am using some old stamps, guys. If you're coming on board and you're like, what is she doing? I could have gold on gold, and that might be kind of fun. I could have done something different there and not had gold on gold. Granny apple green would be kind of fun. I have some lemon lime green too. What is this one? This is lemon lime twist. Woo woo. I think it's a little bit too wide. I won't have any gold left, but looks pretty though. All right, so we need a ton of it. She said 24 inches. A lot of ribbon. Tie a yellow ribbon, a lemon lime twist ribbon around the old oak tree. All right, if you have been stamping like me for 22 years, you have some stuff around your house. So on here, I would use just a little tiny bit of tape, which I put away actually. I don't know what I was using two-sided tape for the other day. Wednesday nights I do fancy folds. I don't. No, this was, well, yeah, here's a fancy fold. I do fancy folds most Wednesday nights. Sometimes I do just fun little idea cards instead, right? But yeah, so we do fancy folds, and I would have had tape that day probably. So those are the days. Those are the days that I definitely used some stuff. So our tear and tape is quite nice, and you can use a chunk of it to hold it in place because this is quite wide. I might use a second piece. And I don't know if I need it completely. So this would also be fun with some beer from one of the more recent beer things. If you're wondering where that little U came from, it is from a set. Oh, I lost the set. Come on, baby. Oh, I really did lose the set. I'll find it in a second. Anyways, okay, so bring this around half. Technically, it shouldn't be quite half, because when I tie it, it's going to be more one way than the other, right? Oh, I hate when that happens. This side is going to get tied. You guys are like, what are you doing, Lori? Just seeing which side needs to have more ribbon. This side. Okay. So I'm going to half it, but I'm going to add just a little tiny bit to the one side. You're like, what are you doing, Lori? I don't know. All right, yay. And we'll tie this around the front. Hope I did that correctly. You could tie this off to one side if you wanted. Like one side or the other, do you know what I mean? Probably high because I'm doing it the opposite way. Okay, you do not need 24 inches, FYI. Well, it's pretty. Okay, you could have 24 inches. So they don't retie it ever. So it's not like you need that. So I could hand them like that, but then that's going to be flopping. So, all right. So if you do it her way and you open it up and it pops out and you're going to have it somehow standing up on your world. Now that is standing by itself. She maybe does do it like this because now that's holding it. No, it's going to fall. It's going to go eventually here. Bottomless line. A couple things that I think, and I'm just thinking out loud. A couple pennies in underneath there would weight this down so that then it would hold up. I will say that I actually think the ribbon might be holding it up as well, but no. So you can leave the ribbon that long if you want to, I guess is what I'm trying to tell you. But I would, and they can put it back in here, right? But I will be trimming this down. And then mine, of course, goes sideways. Okay. And then mine, I'm going to put a little something here, not very big, but just a little tiny word, like that lovely little something. But I do have another U. Oh, look, I just put the thing brighter. I could put another little U on there. But I'll put a little something on the front. That'll be them. They'll get this handed to them, and then it'll be displayed. To-do! Just like that, standing up. How cute is that? You can't see it. We'll bring it down. Ta-da! Look how cute that is. That is a cute little card. All right. So when you are watching the replay, to get the directions, make sure that you do not glue this piece onto the short piece. It goes on the long piece. I'll write that in the directions just so people pay attention. But that's super cute. Happy St. Patrick's Day, you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Cheers, Solancha, as they say, if you're just going now. If you have a beer, wouldn't that have been fun to put there? And hang on, I've got a nice little proverb. May your blessings outnumber the shamrocks that grow, and may trouble avoid you wherever you go. Solancha. Happy St. Patrick's Day, you guys. Bye-bye.